advances to the Final Four.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball Podcast.
Shout out to Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball, man.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chillinois Basketball Podcast. It's been a while. There hasn't been a whole lot of news, but just yesterday, we received about the worst possible news an Illinois basketball fan could be receiving this offseason. David Mirkovich. I saw the news, what was it, yesterday morning at like 10 a.m. He yesterday underwent successful surgery in Indianapolis after suffering a left foot injury, which I have heard recently and subsequently since the news came out. I have heard that it's a stress fracture in his left foot, which they repaired with surgery. He suffered that on July 31st, so 6 days ago. Um, he is expected to make a full recovery, according to the Illinois Men's Basketball Post. The speculation is the timetable for that recovery, but nonetheless, you never want to see a guy who's being talked about as a potential national player of the year. Um, I think the biggest thing when he came back or decided to come back, and he made that incredible post with the Twitch stream going into the post on the Illinois men's basketball page. The biggest thing everybody took away from that was we're going to get year two of David Mirkovich after a summer of David Mirkovich. Because if you remember last offseason, I think he transferred in or he was recruited into Illinois and he got there on campus at about August or September. I think it was late August, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not like he had a full summer last summer. He's not going to get a full summer this summer either. But the notes were, at least according to everybody who was watching practices, was that this is a guy who could be a national player of the year this year. People were saying he was the most dominant player in practices, just bullying people. I think I saw an article just a few days ago talking about how Mirkovich is going to be the point guard for this team. There were a lot of talks about him being the focal point of this offense and the focal point of this team in general for next season. I guess we'll start off with how concerned are you? Uh, if you're putting this on a DEF CON scale from five being the least and one being DEF CON 1, the world is ending. We're going to World War III. Where are you putting this one?
Right now, I give it a DEFCON 5 because I'm not worried at all. Now, later on down the road, I might get a little bit more worried. But the way it seemed when I saw the social media post, they didn't come out and say Mirkovich injured, potential surgery. It was like they already diagnosed him. He already got the surgery. By the way, good job on Illinois staff and everybody to keep it quiet because if that rumor would have got leaked, people would have been losing it on Twitter. Oh, Mirkovich is hurt. Mirkovich is hurt. They won't say anything. It's bad. It's bad. So the fact that they did it how they did it, I don't think it's really that bad. We've got the equipment, we've got the staff, we got the tools, right, to rebuild them. Perez Johnson, the Bionic Man, right? We did it with him. And Merck is just as, he's very dedicated. He wants to play. I mean, he's not like a Joel Embiid that's going to sit on the bench and be happy to collect a check with an injury. He wants to get out there. I mean, he said it himself last year in that interview. If he gets hurt, he'd probably kill himself. So hopefully, Merck, don't do that. Stay with us, buddy. We're
I
here
was
for you.
I was hoping you would bring that up at some point. I was like, this is the guy literally last season that said, I don't know if I was out if I wasn't out there and we lose, I'd probably kill myself maybe. So
Yeah.
um I actually had opposite opinions when the post first came out. The fact that they didn't announce a timetable initially was like, okay. The fact they made a whole post for it made it seem like I don't know, kind of like remember when the White Sox remember when Eloy Jimenez got injured and the White Sox like had somebody like hold his jersey out on opening day as if he like passed away or something. So like I mean I was concerned like oh my gosh this is a season ender. I'm pretty sure when JT Toppin went down, Texas Tech did a very similar thing and it was the end of his season. So it's like you don't often see posts for injuries. Like I don't even think when Kylan Boswell broke his hand, Illinois basketball made a full post about it. They might have put a story out about it, but
I
um
think I saw a post when Matthew Meyer overdosed on caffeine, so they just be making posts. Illinois likes to make posts.
I mean, they like to share content, that's for sure. We'll get to some more content they shared later on a positive note. But I initially was more fearful, and then there were some reports that talked me off a ledge. But I thought this was for sure maybe a season ender. Um, and the other thing that it took me a while to read into, I thought he had surgery. I thought he injured himself the day the post was made, and I thought he had immediate surgery in Indianapolis. So I was like, how bad is it that they have to bring this guy who just got injured in practice to Indianapolis to have surgery? Like, what did he like? What are they amputating his left foot? So those were my initial concerns. But reports have shown that it's probably more of a 6 to 8 week timeline, which does put him on schedule to be playing at the beginning of this season. Unfortunately, both fortunately and unfortunately, depending on how you look at it. Brad Underwood would say fortunately, but they have a lot of tough non-conference games that we're going to need David Mirkovich for. So it's not like we're just having a cupcake non-conference schedule and it's like, oh, we'll get David back by the Big Ten and we'll just cruise through everybody. No, we're going to play UConn. We're going to play, I think it was Duke in there or North Carolina. We're going to play Tennessee again. We're going to play Texas Tech. So we're going to need
Do we
David.
know how soon those games start? Like, are any of those the first 3 or 4 games of the season, or do we kind of have warm-up games?
Well,
I don't think they've released a full schedule yet,
let me
but
pull.
that's the only thing I worry about is like, oh, the second game of the year is, UConn or Texas Tech. But what was concerning to me was that picture you sent of him in the oxygen mask. And I'm
Oh,
like,
well,
oh
he posted
no,
that himself on TikTok. He made a TikTok of that.
he's trolling with that. He's posted a picture of himself in this oxygen mask. It's like looks like Darth Vader or something. I'm like,
Looked like
oh
he's about to
no,
die. I said he was
it's
like
worse,
Bane on Twitter. It's like,
it's worse
oh,
than we thought.
nobody knew who I was before I put on the mask, and that's David Mirkovich now.
Yeah.
Um,
But he,
so
he he should be back. I mean, 6 to 8 weeks, that's nothing, He'll watch some cartoons and do some DJing, whatever he does for
yeah,
fun. I mean, he can still, he'll be maybe put him in a wheelchair. He can still get some shots up.
I was gonna look. I mean, I'm just pulling up my calendar here. So if it's officially he had surgery yesterday, and it's a 6 to 8 week recovery, that would put 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, even if it was 8 weeks, he would be back be like right when the season started. Um, I mean, it's still, you never want to see a guy lose all of his offseason progress or all of his offseason. Like, there's a lot of potential in David Mirkovich that we're not unlocking by having him sit out for all of these games. Especially, Brad's going to talk about conditioning, so getting him back up to speed with conditioning, especially for a guy who's like 6'9" and 240 pounds, 250 pounds. I think he's 260, I think, at this point. I think we're going to see a slower version of David Mirkovich in the first couple of games. Knowing the type of player that he is, my concern is that he's going to try and force things a little bit. It's going to be a big, big deal when he comes back. He was a guy who's being talked about as a National Player of the Year potentially before this injury. So it could be one of those things where I don't know. I remember when last year when Andre came back and I think he turned the ball over like 2 or 3 consecutive trips down the court against Texas Tech. I mean, he ended up having a pretty good game against them, but it was like, what are we doing, Andre? So I'm hoping it's not a what are we doing David Mirkovich moment when he comes back, but there is a lot of optimism in the sense that this is going to give a lot of other guys opportunities to step up. We've still got Stefan Vox. We still have Andrei Stojakovic. We still have both the Ivisic brothers. We still have Jake Davis. We've got Lincoln Williams. We've got Ethan Brown. We've got Xavier Zenz. We've got Quinton
Jason,
Coleman.
Jason Jaxtis,
We've got
double J.
JJ. He's back from a blood clot. So, I mean, we have plenty of depth to make up for this. I just think the ceiling of this team goes down a little bit. I would take this team from a potential national championship to right now, I would say they can make the Final Four, but I think you need a David Mirkovich type player to win the national championship.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm gonna go the opposite direction. I think this makes us even better. It's gonna put a chip on Merck's shoulder. He's seen all the media, he's seen everybody come out and say, "Oh, this is really gonna hurt his chances." First team All-American. I don't know if he'll be able to handle it. It's like 6 weeks, man. What are we talking about? Season hasn't even started yet. He's gonna be just fine. I mean, there's players where they spend the first 6 weeks of the season playing like crap, and then they turn it on, and they're all, they're in the AP first team, second team. I'm not worried about it. And listen, there's a reason I'm not worried about it. Okay, it's not because Merck, it's not because Brad Underwood, it's not because Thomas Law. It's none of those guys that are making me feel comfortable and that I can trust this Illinois team. It's one person. His name is Babasic Ivisic. He is
He's
here.
back.
He's back. I
We
knew
haven't
I'd
seen
bring him
him in a
back.
while.
He hasn't been out in a while because I haven't needed his powers, but we need his powers now. So he's going to be giving Merck all of his good luck. We know he brings a lot of good luck, okay? I made him during the Nebraska game, and we won how many in a row? Like 10 in a row after
I think
that?
it was 10 or 11, yeah.
So we know he's got the power, and now he's going to make sure to give all the power to Merck, heal up that foot. And people are saying online, oh, this is the narrative. This has been the narrative for the last 3 years. Oh, Illinois, what are they doing in practice? They're just beating the hell out of each other. Brad Underwood's got to get it under control. Is he just beating on these? It's like, what do you think's happening? You think he's lining them all up in a line and stomping on their feet, going, "You think you can play ball here? I'm gonna stomp on your toes." Like, what do we think's happening here? They're playing basketball. Okay, they're not bowling. It's a physical sport. People get pushed down. People get stepped on. Stuff happens. People are
I
gonna get
wouldn't
hurt,
I wouldn't
especially
put
if
it
you
past
practice
Brad to have.
hard.
You saw that interview though where Brad was talking about how him and the boys would go back to the Pizza Hut parking lot, and that he was not kidding about that either.
No, they're
I know it was
real
a different
deal.
time, but I
They're
think there could be a moment or two where Brad's like, you know what? We're not even touching basketball today. Everybody put your gloves on and we're circle up in the center court and
And
we're gonna
and
have two
that's what
people
I
go at it
want. That's what
hard.
I want. That's why DePaul's not going to the tournament because they're doing layup drills, right? Brad Underwood's got these guys actually playing basketball at practice.
I do love
That's
that
why they're so good.
I do love that our guy Chris Holtman wears the meta glasses during practices now so we can see what's going on. So Coach
Oh
Holtman,
my.
keep that up. We love the videos because they're not putting them onto the
That's where
public,
the
right?
NIL money is going.
Yeah, the meta glasses. I love it. Anyways, back to Illinois. Final thoughts, I guess, on David Mirkovich. I was kind of leading into it. I do think there's some optimism in the sense that more players are going to get opportunities to step up now. There's going to be less of a, oh, we're going to just rely on David Mirkovich. You made an interesting point the other day when this first came out. You said, oh, now this is going to be every Illinois fan's excuse when they don't win the tournament this year. It's going to be like, oh, well, we didn't have David Mirkovich in the offseason. He wasn't up to his full potential. Um, that's a case to be made, but I don't think we're going to look back and say like by the end of the year, oh, David Mirkovich was really hindered by this, at least come March. That it might be a thing. It's a foot injury, so it could linger for a while, but I'm also not a doctor, so I'm not going to speculate. Also, 6 to 8 weeks is just the timetable we heard as speculation. We don't know anything for sure yet. That's just what we're hearing
That
from
was from Jeff Goodman,
internet.
so you can have to take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I was going to say Jeff Goodman also had Michigan and Michigan State as their ceiling being a national championship and their floor being a Sweet 16. And he had Illinois' ceiling as a Final Four and their floor being a Sweet 16 as well. So I was like, how are you going to put Michigan and Michigan State as potential national championship winners, but not Illinois? I guess the
It's
David
clickbait.
Mirkovich
They
thing.
like to get clicks. What I'm worried about though is re-injury. I'm worried if he
Yeah.
comes out and then in the middle of the season re-injures the same foot,
Mhm.
which I don't know how. So like a stress fracture. I mean, how do you do surgery on a fracture? You'd think it's just like a broken
Don't
bone. It's just gotta heal, you know?
Don't ask me. I mean, with the foot, it gets really complicated. I know that because there's so many little bones in your foot. I don't know where the break was or the stress fracture was. If I had to guess, if they're going to do anything, if they did surgery, it was to reinforce it to make sure it doesn't break further.
The
It's,
bionic man. Well,
yeah.
here's
But
my foot.
I'm not an orthopedic surgeon.
This is my foot, for example. And I will gladly give that to Merck, and I'll take the damaged foot because I don't really need it that much. I have no problem amputating it, not having any foot if it means we can win a national championship. Maybe I take that back, but I seriously would consider amputating my own foot for a national championship. Because
I had some foot problems.
prosthetics nowadays, dude, are you kidding me? And trust me, the fans would look out for me. The true Illinois fans, like Larry Geese, he would go, I see your respect and I appreciate it, and I'm gonna give you $1 million because you gave a foot to the program. So I would be willing to do it. I don't know if the technology's there yet. The only problem with that is if we give him my foot, it's not
He's
gonna be
not going to be
very
able to throw
strong.
up
It's
as
not
high.
not gonna be powerful. It's not a powerful foot.
Yeah.
I have an
Well,
office job.
Merck does a dunk anyways, so.
That's true. I have a dainty foot, although it is kind of hairy, which is not a good combination. You want enough
All
about
right, we're
my
gonna put the
foot.
link in the bio to Noah's OnlyFans foot page. So if you guys want to subscribe to that, make him some extra money.
It's all
Fun fact,
AI generated.
I had some foot problems as a kid. I was born with club foot as a little
Dude, I
baby.
think so was my brother, and he had to wear like prosthetics to
I
straighten it
had to
out.
wear so for the first 9 months of my life, they put casts on my feet because they thought the casts would straighten out my feet as I grew. So I just kind of dragged myself along the ground like a crawler for 9 months of my life. Um, with like my feet in casts like dangling behind me. And then they took them off after 9 months and they were like, wow, nothing was fixed at all. So they basically just did like major corrective surgery. And I can walk.
That's good. I mean, it didn't help your basketball skills much,
No,
but
it
at least you
probably
can.
I often wonder how high I'd be able to jump had that not been an issue when I was born. Because they did
How
have to
high
like
can you jump
cut my
now?
like maybe 12 inches, if that.
We got to get it. We got to do a Chillinois basketball
A
and
Chillinois basketball, like
NBA draft
yeah, NBA
combine.
draft. I like that idea. I think Money's gonna cook us all, and Connor probably would too. If we're
I
doing
think I
any
could jump
shooting
higher
drills,
than Money
Jordan.
maybe, but he's definitely a better basketball player because he's
Yeah, if we're
played,
doing shooting drills, Jordan, Connor, and Money are gonna kill us. So,
yeah.
anyways, in light of the David Mirkovich news, we want to give you guys some good news. There was some good tape put out, not just bad press this week. We like all press, but good press predominantly. We enjoy more. There was some good tapes being put out this week, or one specifically good tape by the Illinois men's basketball page on Instagram. I think it was on their Twitter too. The Quentin Coleman highlight tape. I know you got to that before I did, and you sent me a few clips. I think you said you were salivating. Was that the comment you made? And I, after looking at it, like I'm watching it right now, I know everybody keeps saying Keaton Wagler, Keaton Wagler, Keaton Wagler. He's going to be our Keaton Wagler replacement. I'm still seeing so much Kylan Boswell in him. Like the first two clips are him stealing the ball. And I know it was a pretty lackadaisical dribbling move by Jake Davis on the first one, and then the second one was a bad pass by Jake Davis. But I mean, Quentin Coleman just looks like he's a dog. Like he's gonna piss some opponents off. And I hope we don't. I don't think he's going to end up down the Jeremy Fears Jr. route where he's kicking players in the groin and stuff like that. But he just seems like one of those guys where, like, I don't think he'll stick around for more than one season. He's good enough to go to the NBA probably after 1 year. But it's one of those guys where it's like if he wasn't on your team, you'd hate that guy. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from him. He's just, I mean, for a freshman too, he's like flexing on people. He's getting up in their faces. You pointed out that Brad he took a step back three and Brad said silver, and then he looked at Brad all pissed off because he was talking about the shot being a silver shot, not a gold shot. But let's get your takes on the Quentin Coleman highlight tape because it was impressive and there were plenty of dunks from a freshman and we're not accustomed to seeing a freshman dunk. So
No, I was very impressed with it. I just looked back at the messages and I did not say I'm salivating. I said something a little bit worse, so I'm not going to repeat on the podcast. But I was excited. I mean, I was really excited when I saw that footage because it was like 3 minutes. I mean, it was a lot of footage. And there was like, of course, the step back threes. You kind of expect that he's going to do a little bit of that.
look at this one too. Like look at how high up above the rim he is, and I think he's what 6'3", 6'2". Like
I don't know.
he's explosive, dude.
Well, and he was able to get to the basket very like meticulously and he could, kind of weave through the defenders and it very much reminded me of Keaton. It was kind of slower pace, but it was methodical and he was able to get wherever he wanted. I was really, really impressed with it and that's the question this offseason that all the commentators and analysts and all these people on YouTube have been saying, well, has Illinois got the guard play? Do they got the guard play? I don't know. They're losing Boswell. They're losing Wagler. Who will step up? And it's like, I have no doubt that Quentin Coleman's going to step up and fill that role. I think he's going to be great. And that's the thing is he doesn't even have to be Keaton. He just has to be really good, which he is really good. And so I think he's going to have no problem on this team. He's got enough talent around him where he's like, I don't have to be the guy. He just does what he has to do. And people are going to be surprised. I don't think Illinois fans will be surprised because we know what we were expecting from him. And, all we're missing at this point is a clip from Colin Boswell to say he's cold. And then we'll be behind him 100%. But no, I mean, Quentin's going to be probably a top three player on this team, if not top two. I mean, he could be better than Vox. I don't know if he'll be better than MIRK necessarily, but I think he's gonna be really, really good. And they put out some clip. I saw a clip from Vox. Dude, he can dunk the ball, man. He's like can dunk it just standing. He doesn't even have to run up to the hoop or anything. So I think you're going to see a much more athletic team this year than last year. And plus Lincoln Williams. I mean, all this stuff's coming out about Lincoln Williams. Illini Inquirer just did a whole video on Lincoln Williams, how he's like the best athlete they've seen in a while, and how he's like the best defender
I
they've
always
seen in
say
a
that every
while.
year. We had Blake Fagbemi last year as the best athlete we've seen in a while.
and
And
we
then
still
Pat
have him.
Bev.
He's still on the team.
No, I agree with you. I think w- like it's hard to say this team's going to be better than last year because we made a Final Four last season, and we hadn't done that in 20 years before that. So it's hard to say next year's team is going to be better or have a better ending result because the NCAA tournament's expanding. It's going to be even more chaotic this year. But I think this team is certainly more talented in the sense that your point about Quentin Coleman, he's got such a supporting cast around him. He's not going to need to be Keaton Wagler. He's not going to need to put up 18 points every single game. He can kind of just find his role as a facilitator and like let what comes to him come to him and get his points on his own when they're there. But this team has so much depth if you think about it, like just between Vox and Stojakovic and Jake Davis and the Ivisic brothers and even all the freshmen we've added. I think they're going to have moments throughout this season. So I like the Keaton to Quentin Coleman comparison kind of makes sense to me in the sense that they're both going to be our lead guards in the last two seasons, but I don't think we're going to see Quentin Coleman average nearly as many points as we saw Keaton Wagler average, and I don't think we're going to see Quentin Coleman average nearly as many rebounds. Actually, I take that back. Quentin Coleman in those tapes has also been hitting the glass pretty hard, and we saw it in the USA tournament when he played for the national team. He was hitting the glass pretty hard in those games as well. So I think that's more of a Brad Underwood thing that he's sticking to him and saying, go get those rebounds. But I think what Illinois fans need to be careful of is looking at the stats midway through the season, and if he's only averaging 8, 2, and 3, and everybody's like, "Whoa, this isn't Keaton numbers," but I think we're gonna have to look at the schedule and look at the wins we've accumulated and been like, well, we don't need Keaton Wagler. We have a better team because everybody's performing better in their role. And I'm not saying Keaton Wagler did a bad job in his role last year. He was thrusted into an enormous role for an Illinois basketball team as a freshman. And he got us to a Final Four. So I'll never complain about the job he did. I'm optimistic about this team next year with Quentin Coleman. And I think what I'm trying to get at is that I think he's going to do less just because this team is going to be better all around him. So I wouldn't look back on his season and be like, oh, he only averaged 11 points a game and be like, well, he wasn't as good as Keaton. I mean, this team could win a national championship. Would we say he's better than Keaton then if he was their lead guard?
Well, he's definitely not going to score 46 at Purdue.
I don't think so.
No, he's not that. Well, I haven't seen him play, so I can't say anything right now. I just don't think he's that capable of a scorer. And let's be honest, I mean, that game, Keaton, something happened. I don't know if there's something in the water, but like that doesn't happen. It didn't happen again to Keaton for the rest of the season. He could probably
What
be
did
on this
he had
Illinois
like
team for,
some, what did he have against Nebraska? Like 30 something?
I can't remember, but
I was
46
about
in Mackey,
320 something at least.
that's never been done. And it quite frankly might never happen again. So that was a very, very, very special performance. But what Coleman needs to do is not that. He just needs to be a good enough point guard to be able to get the ball up the floor. Although now, before the injury, and there was all this stuff coming out about how they want to run point forward through MIRK. So you really never know what Brad wants to do going into the season. It is going to be interesting though with Mark going down, who's going to emerge as being that guy. Everybody's saying it's probably going to be Vox. Vox should be the guy that emerges. He really needs to be, but it can be any of these guys, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they run, Z and T. Let's say Merck's injured the first few games and can't play. Maybe you start Z and T together. I don't know. But
We might get our dream fulfilled of the Z and T lob to lob to lob to lob to lob to alley-oop play, where they just pass it above everybody's head down the court, one touch passes back and forth, and then one of them lobs it to the other. Looks
yeah,
like
I mean, there's endless possibilities with those two. I'm really looking forward to Tommy. And I said that last year. I predicted that Tommy was going to be the best player on the team and that it was going to be his year and he was going to take over. And there's no way he's coming back because he's going to be so good. The NBA is going to want him. That didn't come to fruition. But I think it's going to come to fruition this next season. Okay. Eventually, Tommy's going to hit because especially we saw in the tournament at the end of the year, he was starting to really heat up. And so I think it's only a matter of time that him and Z just turn it on. I mean, they're going to be like 25 years old playing against 18-year-olds. Eventually their size and age is just going to, their basketball IQ is going to be too
He'll
much
be
for these young
22,
kids.
but yeah, or 20, yeah, 22.
He looks like he's 40. So either
Yeah,
way, I mean, they got a lot of potential.
Back to Coleman for one last note. I know you said that he's not going to score 46 at Purdue. I agree. I don't think that's going to be something we see out of him. I think Keaton's game just kind of lent itself a little bit more to like being a high scorer in a game. I think he's a better shooter, especially off like a step back and kind of like creating space for himself. But let's talk about Quentin Coleman to wrap it up, or at least wrap up the Quentin Coleman conversation. If we were going to see him score a very high amount of points at any opposing team's arena or at State Farm Center, what do you think his season high for points will be? Because right now I would set it at like 21 or 22. I don't think we'll see anything like astronomical out of him, but I could see a few games where he has 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 or 7 assists, flirts with a triple double.
Yeah, I think his I'm feeling like a Big Ten tournament, like third round, like to get to the finals. I don't know how many rounds there are in the Big Ten tournament now. They keep changing it every year. But, later on in the tournament, he's gonna have a game where everyone goes, "Oh, I'm gonna pick them to win the national championship." I didn't know he was that good. And he's gonna have like 30, 10, and 5 or something. Just he's gonna have a crazy game. It's gonna just be like like against Wisconsin or against Nebraska or one of these teams that's, gonna be decent, but maybe not, bottom or top tier necessarily. And that's gonna be the moment where people start to, think about their brackets a little bit harder. So I'm predicting that 30, 10, and 5 seems high, but I'll go with it. Quentin Coleman, Big Ten tournament MVP.
You're gonna have to drop every time we do a MVP prediction now during our like pregame recordings. You're gonna just have to drop a 30, 10, and 5 for Quentin Coleman until it like actually comes to fruition. Anyways, last piece of information slash news we want to touch on, not necessarily Illinois related, but it could be potentially depending on how you look at it, depending on how the portal wraps up, I suppose. But excuse me, I swallowed incorrectly. But um, there has been an official, I don't know, is it a law or an amendment or a what
I
is
think
it?
it's a, I think it's
It's
part
a
of the
policy.
Constitution now or something. It's like an
Yeah,
amendment.
it's the 28th Amendment. Anyways, there is now a fifth year for college athletes. It is
2022 players.
I think it extends. I mean, that's the first year it starts, yes, but
Right.
I think it
Right.
extends beyond that. Every player who plays Division One or Division Two college athletics, I think it's basketball. It might be extending to other sports as well, but instead of just a 4 year eligibility model, it will now be a 5 year eligibility model. Um, this only matters in the sense that there's some players who have already graduated, gone to the summer league, played a few summer league games, and can now come back to college basketball. And a few of them have already decided they are going to. I think I saw Sam Alexis has decided to return to Indiana. A lot of players who are allowed to come back have decided they are not going to return to their former schools. Um, we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth when we have our DePaul episode tomorrow and what it means for NJ Benson because he can also return. I don't think he'll be returning to DePaul, but we'll get into that a little bit more. I don't think this affects Illinois very much, except for the fact that like our players can stay longer now. The only way I could potentially see it affecting Illinois is maybe we go after somebody in the portal now if the David Mirkovich news ends up being worse than we think it might be. If Brad is getting notes from the doctors saying this might be a 3 month, 4 month thing, maybe we go after a senior power forward coming out of I don't know where, but
NJ
yeah, maybe
Benson.
maybe Illinois goes and grabs NJ Benson. Um, but it wouldn't shock me. It would shock me if the David Mirkovich news is like, oh, he's going to be back before the season starts. Then I think this roster is finalized. If that's not the case, I could see Brad going after someone.
Can I be
Um,
honest though? Because I just thought about it for 2 seconds. Like NJ Benson would actually work on this team. They could like move Tommy to the 4 and put NJ at the 5, and then you surround him with shooters, and you just got a big, powerful man down low. And you want to talk about Lob City? DePaul was the number one lob team last year in the whole league. So Lob
Brad would
City's here in
love
Champaign,
NJ
baby.
Benson. Brad would love NJ Benson too. He's such a Brad Underwood player. Just
He's like
rebound.
Dane. He's literally Dane Danger,
Yeah, he
but
is. He's better.
probably better.
Little less like I think his skill, like his footwork skill, is not as good as Dane Danger. Dane Danger had finesse for a guy that big.
But
Uh,
also, he would turn it over all the time. He didn't know what the hell he was
yeah,
doing half the time.
yeah. NJ Benson's a little bit more of a dog, I think. Like bully you, grab that rebound, shove you over. He's got that Big East mentality. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this fifth year thing? I don't think it'll affect Illinois too much. My initial thought when I saw it was Kylan Boswell, please come back for one more year, but he's literally already playing for the Charlotte Hornets, so that wouldn't make much sense. Um,
I was hoping Ben Hammerkaus might be able to come back as the contract he signed was it was like an Exhibit 10. It's like, who knows what the hell that even means. But I think if you signed a contract with the NBA, regardless of what level the contract is, I think you're not eligible to come back, which is why a lot of players, waited. But to be fair, even somebody like Braden Smith, he already came out and said he's not coming back. He's staying in the NBA or whatever he's doing. So I don't know how many people are really coming back. I think AJ Storr's coming back. I don't know if he's already signed to another team. Everyone's saying, oh, he's going to go to LSU and all this. Who knows? There was a couple other players that were, still up in the air. But then the head of the NCAA just came out today or yesterday and was like, if any coach recruits a kid who didn't already enter the transfer portal, then that coach will be suspended for 50% of the season. I'm like,
oh,
they're just like making shit up now as they go. So it's gonna be crazy. I don't think Brad even wants to mess with any of that stuff. He's like, I got my team, we're good to go. I'm not gonna worry about I don't want to, get involved with any judges or courts or allegations or any of that kind of stuff. So I don't think you'll see Brad really mess with it too much. It'd be perfect for the ball. I mean, shoot, grab somebody. AJ Store, that'd be the perfect piece for this puzzle.
no, no, we don't need that guy. He's gonna be on his ninth team in 9 years.
Hey, he's a good point guard. I mean, he can shoot the ball. We got Magoon go off. Magoon and Store the goon. I mean, come on, that's
Score
perfect.
here is crazy. Yeah, no, it's a wild time to be a college basketball fan with this whole transfer cycle and transfer portal in the last couple of years and now the fifth year. So we'll see how it shapes up in the off season for the remainder of it. I don't think it'll affect Illinois too much. Like I said, we'll talk about it with DePaul because it certainly could affect DePaul. We'll have an episode of Demon Time coming out pretty soon for you guys. Noah, it's been good to get back and talk to you. It's been a while. So glad we did this tonight. Be on the lookout for more episodes in the future as more news comes out about David Mirkovich or more newcomer spotlight
Balkan food
chasers.
reviews.
Oh yeah, well that's on the horizon. Noah and I need to get ourselves to a Balkan restaurant, hopefully one recommended by Tomislav or Zvonimir or David or maybe Mihailo Petrovic. We'll figure that out. I don't know if you saw, but it was like the Ivisic brothers and Andre and Jake Davis were at Lalo this weekend. They were in town. I didn't see them, unfortunately, but
I'm surprised you'd be able to point them out in the crowd. They're freaking
I know
huge.
I ran into Terrence Shannon Jr. and he was like the not this year, but when I did 2 years ago, he was like the tallest guy at Lollapalooza. So I can only imagine Zvonimir and Tomislav were the
Well,
tallest dudes there.
DJ Smirk was probably playing a set there. He's getting better at that kind of
Yeah,
EDM
he doesn't
stuff.
have to, he just needs 1 foot for that. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we'll have more videos coming out for you guys as news comes out or more highlight tapes come out. And hopefully, pretty soon, we'll have a little Balkan food review coming out for you
We're
guys.
gonna have Monroe bring Petrovic from New Jersey because he's at Seton Hall now, and he's gonna fly him out and bring him to the Balkan food review.
I mean, that would be pretty sweet. I would enjoy that a lot. Anyways, Noah, good talking to you. We'll have more episodes for you guys coming out pretty soon. Keep an eye out for the Demon Time episode coming out later this week. ILL.
I and I.